opposed to an analog, the rotary meter, the old school. A lot of times the plants right outside that meter will fail to thrive because of the EMFs that are coming off of it. And what I'm going to encourage you to do, if any of this inspires you to do so, is do your own research. Go down these rabbit holes, and there's so much information out there. I do have a slide with links, and if you're that will come up later. And if you're really interested, then you can contact me, and I'll send you this whole presentation. But there's so much information on there. And if any of you follow Robert Kennedy Jr., who's doing a lot of good things, he has, just go into his Children's Health Defense website, type in 5G or EMFs, and all kinds of stuff comes up that's really valuable information. And we have to always, and he's focused on children, we have to focus on our kids. I don't know if this is true or not, but supposedly when the schools were shut down and we were on lockdown, they were installing 5G in our schools so they can cook our little kids. I'm not okay with that. So there is a difference between the electric field and the magnetic field. So if you want to research that, I encourage you to do so. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on that science stuff. Let's keep going. All right, so you have 4 different types of environmental EMFs. You have the electric fields that come off of appliances and magnetic fields that come off different things. Radio frequencies come off of your cell phones, and then you have dirty electricity. So you have a lot of different appliances that are running all the time, and they're constantly just putting off frequencies in your house. And there may be I'm about to go to San Antonio tomorrow, and I'm staying with a friend, and she's offering me her office room with the blow-up mattress. And I'm like, I don't even know if I could do it. Just because the whole night I'll be thinking, oh my God, her computer, and there's all those cables underneath, and I'll just be like, oh my God, I can't sleep. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to deal with it. Okay, so here's some of the different sources, and this is not an exhaustive list. I mean, just think of all the different stuff you have in your house that requires some kind of power. Even the little battery-operated cute little clocks that sit on the wall, that's putting off a signal. So, and I'm going to give you all this information, and then there is going to be some hope, right? Because like I said, it's about balancing. I'm not giving up my cell phone anytime soon, but I am going to take measures to keep it from being a weapon that I'm carrying around right on my person, right? Okay, so all these are different sources, the power lines, and I have a picture of a power line that's right at my driveway, and there it is. And I sit over here, and I look at the beautiful sun, and I look at that. So I've done some things around the house there to help manage the EMFs that are coming off of that power line right there. A little side note, a little side story that really made me mad. It happened on October 10th, is how mad I was. It was Saturday night going into Sunday morning, right? And people sleeping, they're gonna sleep in or go to mass or whatever they're gonna do. And it was at 3:30 a.m. and I have 4 standard poodles, and they don't miss a thing. So I hear this, they start barking, and I sleep with a sleep mask. I'm really obsessed with sleep, and we'll get into that too. So I sleep with a sleep mask, so I don't see any lights that are happening, because that's one of the ways you can improve your sleep is to make it dark. And they start barking, and I'm like, what are you barking at? And then I see that there's lights flashing from outside. And right at the end here, this is Bloomfield. So it goes right there, and there's what's the cable company? I don't have cable. What's the cable company right here? Spectrum. All right, so I hear this beep, 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 and see this flashing light, and the dogs are looking and looking. So I look out there, and I'll be darned, this Ameren truck, this dude, he's working, man. He was a good worker. He was efficient. From 3:30 a.m. till 6:30 a.m., back and forth, beep, 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 it's going up, coming over here, beep, beep, vehicle. For 3 hours on a Sunday morning, what was it that needed to be done at that time? So then I went down a rabbit hole. Spectrum, owned by Charter, it's owned by BlackRock. Remember we talked about that a little bit last time? Yeah, so I don't even know what to say about that. Do whatever you want with that. So this is outside my house. All right, so I've been dealing with that. So here are some of the health effects. And again, this list is not exhaustive. There's so many things that are happening with people. And I already have tinnitus, which is ringing in your ears. And I used to think it's because I played in a rock and roll band for so many years. So that would be pre-COVID and pre-cell phones and stuff. But tinnitus, ringing in the ears, is one of the symptoms or signs that something's going on around you. There's a frequency. Anyway, so these are all these different health effects. And so maybe you have noticed some of them. Don't know. And we'll talk about the terrain theory, or the story of the terrain theory versus germ theory, which has to do with what's going on inside here. Okay, so then protection. Okay, so there's different ways you can protect yourself. If I see a lot of people walk around with the little thingy hanging out of their ear, right? And it stays there like all day long. So that's wireless. So wireless is bad news. As we say in San Antonio, no bueno. But we like it, it's so convenient. So one of the things you can do to protect yourself is start wiring everything in your house. Go back to being wired. And these are what are called blue tube, not to be confused with blue tooth. And they are drmercola.com. Anybody have you heard of Dr. Joseph Mercola? Wendy has, of course she has. Anyway, he is on our team. I love him. And he's been canceled and censored and all that because he speaks truth. Anyway, I got these from him, and they're better for you than the wireless. However, this is how they always get us, right? This no longer works on the new phones. Dang them. So you gotta get the adapter, and it's 50 or 60 bucks, and then you gotta keep track of it. Anyway, so there's an option. Another thing we can do, okay, so we wanna detect it. Let's find out, where is it the worst in our house, right? And the room that you spend the most time in is the room you want it to be the least, right? So if it's really bad in your utility room, well, you're not hanging out in there all day long, right? But if it's the worst in your kitchen or your office or your bedroom should be the cleanest room in the house. As far as, I'm not talking about dust or poodle hair, I'm talking about cleanest with regard to dirty electricity. Because your sleep is one of the most important things you can do for your health. People think, I need to exercise more, I need to eat right, and then I'll be healthy and happy. Exercise, first place, is sleep. That's the most important thing you can do for your health. And second, nutrition. And sometimes we can flip those. But if you have good nutrition and you're not sleeping, it becomes the most important thing. Exercise is third. Can you believe that? But that's not an excuse not to exercise. That's a whole other topic. All right, so detecting it. I brought this and I'm going to pass it around. And I want you to turn it on. Hang on. Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and turn it on now. Okay.
And I have one of
these. So I have it turned on. It's an RF meter. And I just got it and I'm so excited. I thought about it for a long time, and I finally just pulled the trigger. And now I own it. And now I can know for sure. I almost didn't want to know. I was always like, oh God, because then I'm going to have to do something about it, right? Once you know, it's like now you can't unknow that. Just like when you realize that when you buy berries at the grocery store and you get the conventional ones and how poisonous they are, because berries, you eat the skin, right? So the pesticide goes on top and in. And once you know that, and you have little kids, you can't unknow that. You gotta make a choice, right? Anyway, so detecting it. So what I want you to do, if you're into it, and be sure I get it back because I just got it and I like it a lot.
Don't drop it.
Put it next to your phone and watch it go to a high number. I'm not going to get into all the details of that, of what the high number means. The high number means it's not good. And then put your phone on airplane mode and see if it changes. So that's one of the other things you can do is, on that list that was there before, is unplug for one. And there's people who are, more obsessed than I am with this topic, suggest that you turn off the power to your house when you go to sleep. And there's remote controls that you can turn it back on, so that you're not being radiated from all sides, from the lamp and the clock and the phone and the iPad And then there's that thing over there that beeps a blue light, and there's my toothbrush and it's beeping a blue light, and then the heater, it's beeping its light. You got all these lights coming at you. So what you want to do is turn everything off or remove them from you. Get them as far away from you as possible. I proved to myself that I could go to sleep without my phone next to me. I just like, I don't even care anymore. And I left it in the other room charging, because that's when it's really putting off a high signal, is when it's charging. So when you're on your device and it's charging, that's when you're getting a heavy signal coming right at you. All right, so can we go back to that list? There's my granddaughter's feet. Let's go back to the list. So you want to detect it, right? So then you know where it's the worst in your house. And then there's different ways you want to reduce the use of it. And even when, like right now, sitting here, unless you're expecting somebody to contact you, you could have your phone on airplane mode right now, right? So just try to establish a new habit of knowing that when it's on airplane mode, it's not as harmful. That's a good thing. That's easy to do. Also, if you notice when you take your phone off of airplane mode, it automatically puts Bluetooth on, and you don't even have to ask it. It's going to make you have Bluetooth, whether you want it or not. So you can turn the Bluetooth off and still have your Wi-Fi, because you got there's the airplane, there's the little green antenna, there's the blue. I think that means, what does that mean? That's the Wi-Fi, and the antenna means. See, I don't even know. I just know that it's asked me. And then there's the Bluetooth, right? All those icons. So choose which one you're going to use. Do you need them all the time? You don't. I'm telling you, you don't. All right, so you want to reduce the use, put it in airplane mode, turn it off at night. Or you can put it in airplane mode. My husband the other day, I said, can you please, I'm doing all this stuff to make this room perfect. And then here's on his phone with the light blasting his eyeballs. And the airplane mode is not on. And he said, no, in case of an emergency. I said, well, I bought him for Christmas these little pouches. You can stick your phone in it, and half of it, on one side of it, has that Faraday bag material, right? So it reduces what it's emitting, right? So he did say yes to that. Woohoo! All right, so turning it off, turn off the Bluetooth, unplug completely. So I'm passing around these two little things, and I have a picture of one of them. So it says that liquid metallic polymer. All right, so if you this product right here, I use this Premier Research Labs. They're out of Austin. They're like-minded. They for vitamins and stuff. They're the cleanest ones I've been able to find, and I've been looking for many years. So I use them, and Dr. Linda Forbes, who is the CEO of that, is into a thing called Vastu. I know you're like, what? Vastu. Anyway, it's about balanced energetics. Whether it's in your home or at your workplace, on your body, in your car. Also, your cars put off signals, right? They definitely do, especially the new ones and the smart ones. So this you put around, let's go to the next slide, see if I have a picture of it. This you put on all cables. So you can see my little cube there of my son getting me that, so that was just happened to be laying there. The picture is the cords. See how they look like there's something on the cord? Go to the next slide, Jen, it has a better picture. See, this is my computer cable. So I painted it with this liquid metallic polymer, which is copper-based, and copper I had this all in my head earlier, but it's kind of geeky for me to remember. Anyway, copper has a property to it that helps to mitigate all these signals coming. So this is a liquid metallic polymer that you put on your cables. I have them everywhere in my house. I put it on what's the box in the basement where you do all the switches? What's that called?
Breaker box.
Yeah, the breaker box. Yeah, I have it on there. I have it on every cable. Anything. I put it on my coffee pot cord, the bean grinder, everything. So, and this is cheap. This is easy to do. $25, and I still have a ton left. So it's copper. You're applying copper to these different appliances. And then the other thing I didn't take a picture, I don't think, so I thought of it late.
Can you go back to the one picture what it showed where you purchased it?
Yeah. So that one, it's Premier Research Labs, right there. Yeah, and I think that little, Jan, you have some, right? I think it was like $25. And you just take a little Q-tip, and if you'll go to the computer with I did that, dude, So if you look at some of the cords, some of the old cords don't have that ridged section on it. Like I have some old lamps for my mother-in-law, and they don't have that. But the new ones do, and so you want to put it on both sides, all the way around, 360. So you do have to apply it thoroughly and carefully, but you just put a little Q-tip in there, and you just go to town on all the appliances. And my husband's a musician like Damon, and upstairs he has a guitar room, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all these cables, it's like spaghetti, it's crazy. So this helps, Jim.
Can we post the premiere link on?
Absolutely.
CMOB? We'll post
Yeah.
it, so you guys will have it.
And then, and I'm gonna pass it around, and then there's this little copper lattice grid. And on the links is, I think it's called consciouscopper.com, something like that. But check it out. And there's several different sites that offer this. And I'm willing to try anything, you guys. If it's cheap, I'm gonna try it. And if I do some reading on it and it sounds valid, like valid science. So these are these light little grids, and and you put one in a room, and it's supposed to be good for 500 square feet. So I have one like on my night table, one in each room to help manage, and they haven't even fully blown us up with the 5G yet. I'm preparing for that. This is what all this is me preparing for when they really start to cook us. So I'm gonna pass these around.
Susan,
Okay, so then what else do we have? Let's go back to the list of, thank you, Jan, for doing this. Okay, so the liquid metallic polymer, the little copper lattice, grounding, that was the picture of my granddaughter and me on the beach. And grounding or earthing means putting your bare feet on the earth, not on the concrete, not on the wood deck, but actually on the earth, like walk in a river or stand on the beach or step in the grass. Did any of you ever used to lay down in the grass as a kid and look up and remember how cool it was? The grass was literally cool. The earth vibrates at 7.83 hertz approximately, and so do we, and living beings. So that's where we want to get, but most of the time, I bet 95% of us are wearing rubber soles right now, right? So we've lost our connection, literally lost our connection with the earth. So that's one way, and it's really good for circulation. It's good for your mental health, and it's that easy, and it's cheap, and it's free for now, right? Until they take it away from us. All right, so grounding or earthing, and yeah, all right, and that's the device, and let's see, the tapping. Are you guys familiar with tapping? Wendy, you are, aren't you? Yes. So tapping is a technique, and people probably think, oh my God, she is really wacky. And there's the tappingsolution.com, and I just was involved in a webinar with them, and it basically is, our psychology and our mind are so powerful. Our thoughts penetrate right into our cells. Our cells are listening. And I'm talking about your biological cells, not your cell phones. I think our cell phones are listening too, by the way, but your cells. And so if you're sending negative thoughts then to your cells, then you're gonna get what you get because you did what you did, right? So it's important that you think good thoughts. So this tapping technique, and you can go check it out, it's pretty profound. I was like, nah. Yes, I cried twice during a session because it really, you have to say these things out loud. Like, even though I know that, it starts, and there's 9 different spots. You start here with, this is what we're going to talk about today. And then you start going through, there's forehead, eye, side of the eyes, under the eyes, nose, over the chin, on your chest, under your arm, and you just go through these statements. If you want to make a change in your life about something, or you're just trying to get some insight, so tapping, and it has a profound effect. So anyway, try that. And that's just for well-being, right? The better we are, the more we're going to be able to handle this assault that is happening now and is coming. And I'll show you some pictures, more pictures. The Faraday bag. Who doesn't love a Faraday bag? Wendy, where do I keep my Faraday bag? Do you remember? I told you. So this is a Faraday bag. Are you guys familiar with this? I know you are. And I keep this, there we go, nice. I keep this next to my bed. I lost my glasses. Oh, here we go. And I would put my phone in it, and my iPad, and my self-protection, and my satellite phone. It doubles as my bug out bag too. Anyway, I'd like to have a Faraday suit. I want a Faraday vest. The other day I had to go into Best Buy. It was so painful because I don't shop at big box. I'm adamantly opposed to, but the dang iPad. So I had to go in there and I went. And they were trying to get my device to come up on Bluetooth, and there was like 25 other things that came up on it. And both the young man in the back and the guy at the Geek Squad, I said, you guys need Faraday ponchos. And he said, I know, I wish we could get them. Because those people who work in there, I mean, I don't know how they sleep at night. And not because of, the Best Buy, giants, but because they're so irradiated all day long. And these are young guys. It's such a bummer.
Oh, did you want me to
Yeah.
hold it for you? Did you want to pass it around? or-
Yeah, absolutely.
So, this is kind of heavy.
My son gave me that, yeah.
It's kinda heavy.
You gotta be strong to carry that thing around. By the time it has my self-protection, my satellite phone, it comes with a great first aid kit. That's what's in there right now. It came with it, which is awesome.
And where'd you get this from?
At the Getting place. I don't know, my son got it for me.
Well, that, just like the metal trash cans,
Mm-hmm.
like a, it'll do
Do we
the
want to
same-
pass this
it'll do
around?
Sort of the same
Or do you
thing.
guys want to come and see it afterward, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I love that thing. Okay, so we talked about the copper lattice. So the Faraday bags, there's materials, and the little doohickey, the RF meter, I got it from Safe Living. And here they have, you could put a canopy on your bed. Isn't that romantic? It looks like a mosquito net. There's all kinds of stuff in here that you can do. There's paint. There's window tinting. So on that side of my house there, where that big monstrosity is, I want to put tint on the windows to slow those waves from coming into my house. Because that's where my clawfoot tub is, and I spend a lot of time in there. So I got to get that under control. Okay, let's see what else we got here. The meter. Look at her feet. Go back. Look at her feet. Look, they're like little Barney Rubble feet. I just love them. She's so good. Okay, so next, there's the liquid. That's how you use it. Keep going. All right, so let's talk about 5G, which is 5th generation. And I'm fine with 3G, But somehow it was decided for all humans that you will have 5G. And I guarantee you 6G is probably coming. So 5G.
I've already got like 12.
It's problematic because, and this, I'm going to get a little geeky on you here for a second. We, as humans, can kind of tolerate all this EMF that's coming at us. But we, as humans, have a lot of inhabitants on board. Our microbiome, all the healthy bacteria, the microorganisms that make up the human, one human, is more than, the population. There's trillions of microorganisms inside of us that keep us going. We are the host. And they can't tolerate it. So if they die, so does the host. Does this make sense? There's an Italian doctor, his name is Dr. something Ruggiero, and in the links, there's one that is Presidium Life. And when I listened to his lecture and he said that, I was just like, oh my gosh, that makes perfect sense. You've heard of keeping your gut health, right? Your gut intuition, your gut told you, right? It's because the brain and the gut are connected. And after you get sick, you take a bunch of antibiotics, and you don't replace that or follow that up with probiotics, which are the healthy bacteria that are there that help us, all the systems that are working constantly in our body. We got some help, and it's inside there. So after you take a course of antibiotics, you always want to follow with probiotics. So you repopulate your gut flora so that your gut can manage all the things that you're putting in there. And we'll talk about that in another discussion, what you're eating. Can you click that? And how are you? How are you holding up, dear?
I'm good.
Good.
Checking the numbers.
So what's happening in Cape Girardeau is a full-on deployment, installment, and I don't know if you've noticed it, and I'm not talking about the huge towers. Those are right there, right? We've been looking at those ugly things, and that's kind of a, we just had to suffer through it because we like our devices, right? It's so convenient. But they've changed what's on them, right? From 4G to 5G. But they're there, they're big, and they're ugly, and they serve a purpose. But there's a whole other set of towers that just blend right in because they're short. They're small cell towers. But the thing about those is that they have to be closer together. The big ones can communicate a long ways, but the short ones are for little relays, like 100 meters maybe. So, and well, let's just keep going. All right, so what I found out, because I went to a couple of the county commissioner meetings because I wanted to find out who authorized for Cape Girardians and Jacksonians to be subjected to this. Did they ask us? Did they tell us if everything was wrong? Is it going to harm us? Is it safe? What are the benefits? Shouldn't we have some say-so over that? I mean, in my world, we should, but in their world, we don't matter, right? So they told me, well, that's the city thing. So when we had that meet and greet at Drury Plaza, I went right up to Mayor Fox and I asked him what about 5G? And I noticed that there's all these towers everywhere and it's really harmful. And he's like, yeah, well, that comes from the state. And I'm like, okay. And truth be told, I did some reading on, how it all goes down, that it's imposed upon us. And what I found out is that it comes from the state and cities don't really have a choice. And I'm not buying that. So the local mayor says, basically he's powerless. Okay, thanks. So this is at AutoZone, right at Bloomfield where it crosses over Kings Highway. And I just what am I seeing? So I did a U-turn and they were installing a tower and this fellow was taking his lunch break. And I went up to him and I said, so what's going on? What is this? I said, is this 5G? And I tried to act, but I'm not really good. So I was like, hi, so what is this? Is this 5G? I was happy about it. And they said, oh no, ma'am, no, this is just for the city to ping you in an emergency. Like there's an emergency, then they can ping you on your phone. I'm like, So go on to the next slide. So this is at AutoZone. So now you're gonna see, and this is Elite Fiber Optics. And according to LinkedIn, in case you can't see in the back, Elite constructs the most advanced fiber optic cable system and latest generation 5G broadband networks for homes, terminals, enterprises, premises, and more. Yay. Well, these trucks were at Drury Plaza for weeks. And at the same time, AT&T trucks, it'd be 2 trucks at a time, and they're digging holes. So it gets better. Or worse. Okay, this is at the Bentera building. And I told Eric Becking, because I've been bugging him, because he's on the health board, right? I said, do you know about 5G? And do you know the harms of getting it? And I didn't say it like that. And he's so nice. And I said, well, just by the way, if you're interested in the topic, there's one right outside your building. And this is it. There's one. So the one at AutoZone is the first one I noticed when they put that one up. And then I had my eyes on it, because then I went home and I looked, and there's a picture, on the internet. They show all the different, figurations of it. So this is at Arena Park. Hello, friend. Keep going. This is at Moreland. I stopped and took a picture, and one of the guys that was working came out and said, yeah, they just started doing that. I don't think it's good. No, it's not good. So there's that one. This is at the new VA building. And then, let's see, Yeah, Southeast Behavioral Hospital. Yeah, we're gonna have some behavior issues before too long, I guarantee you. And then keep going, this is at Silver Springs at 674. And all right, so I found a new one today, right before I got here, and I also left one off. So this is Seamers, starting at D-Mart, right? Seamers at Route K, there's a D-Mart there, a mobile. And then there's one at Target. Then there's one at Lowe's, Toyota, Moreland's, Menards, and South Fork. So you can just follow the grid. Ping, 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 ping. So all those people in Seamers that are working there, yeah. And from what I understand, they haven't like pressed the button, 5G everywhere yet. So then we also have, there's the VA, Silver Springs, AutoZone, Bloomfield, BG's, KFC, IHOP, Banterra, Kings Highway North. I think it's maybe by that, where the costume place was, ish, somewhere up there. Independence has 2. There's one right by, the one in Independence is right by the Chateau, all those elderly folks. There's one at Chick-fil-A, and there's one somewhere and it's painted white. So it kind of blends in, can't really tell. But if you aren't looking for them, you just won't even notice because there's so many poles on the streets, you won't even notice. And what did I leave off? Oh, there's one on, what is it? Think of it. What's the word? Mount Auburn. Right at Dr. Freeman's office, Doctor's Park, if you guys know where anyway, right there. Yes?
They have put one of those in my neighbor's front yard, and she's freaking out because there's lots of little kids in the neighborhood.
Oh my gosh.
Chateau Drive, there's one in the front yard. Like, they put that thing up my neighbor and
That
she
is.
should have a pit, but they're residents.
Well, the mayor did tell me that someone had one come close to them and they protested and they went somewhere else.
Well, this one's still there.
So what if we did that on all of them? Go away. Yeah, that's why, the whole COVID thing. So anyway, you get an idea, and I want to get a map and then put them all on there to see what is their grid. And you know what, here's a side thing, having to do with the UN, and I might have told you this. We were driving from the airport into town, and there's those bridges, and I thought, can you imagine if the UN occupied the bridge and decided who gets to go back and forth? I don't know why I thought of that. Anyway. Yeah, and the whole river, that's just gonna divide the United States, but I'm getting off topic. I told myself, you stay on topic. All right, so anyway, as you can see, here's what I was gonna tell you. My husband told me that you need to realize, babe, the reason why the highway systems are here is for military operation. That's why the whole interstate highway system was developed. My mind was blown. Why isn't there an emoji? That was crazy. I couldn't believe it. It all made perfect sense to me then. It's like, oh no, I want to go to the farm. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, so this is just a little exercise. You can do this right now if you want to. Let's get your check to see if your phone is on 5G. And you can opt out of that, and I'm going to show you how. So you go to your settings, and go to cellular data. I hope this is helpful. Like I said, these are just my obsessions. You go to cellular data, and then it'll get you to this screen, yes? And they sell 5G as, it'll make everything so much faster. Like, how much faster do I need it to be? So fast that I die sooner because I get zapped? That the days are shaved off of my life? And the quality of my life changes, right? So we can go then to the next screen. I don't know how you do that, Jan. Okay, so then this will take you here. You click cellular data and then you get to this screen. And so then from here, I have the data roaming off. You're gonna click, right here so I have my data roaming off, as you can see. And then if you click on the 3G, it'll take you to the next screen.
I don't have that.
Yeah, so this is the iPhone, so.
I am on iPhone, I don't have any.
Yeah, so we could have a whole lesson just on this.
Right.
Yeah.
We go to the next.
Okay, so then then you would just click the 3G as opposed to the LTE. So anyway, you can find out how to do this. If it doesn't happen for you tonight, you can find out how to do this. And so I keep my phone on and my iPad on 3G, and I also do not let it automatically update
Should be charged.
to the next iOS, because when they were threatening that they were going to track us, track and trace,
Yeah.
it was going to come up, it was going to automatically be included in the software update. No. So you can opt out, you can tell it, just go to, where it says iOS updates and turn it off. Anyway, okay, so what else we got? All right, so this is 7 essential ways to make your home safe from 5G. This guy, Josh Del Sol, is the bomb. He's obsessed like me, but he has a lot of information. So I just want you to see that, and it's going to be in the links. So 7 essential ways, Josh Del Sol 5G Summit. This information is all really easy to find on the internet if it's something that you really want to take steps to take care of yourself, right? Keep you from being irradiated. It's not going away, so we have to take steps, right, to protect ourselves. And then next we have another really good source, Lloyd Burrell, Long-Term EMF Protection. This is a great little document you can download it, or just read it online. And he explains it a lot. If you want to know all the science, these waves and these frequencies and this intensity, that's a good place to go. So basically you want to reduce the amount that's coming at you, right? Reduce the intensity of it, the frequency that you're around it, and the duration, right? So in other words, the less, the better. And then here's a ton of links. And I'm using this because I want to talk about some of these. We talked about Lloyd Burrell, the EMF guy, Safe Living Technologies. That's the device that's going around, and that's where they have the canopies and just pieces of fabric. You could get a piece of the fabric that they have, and I think I'm going to do it, and just drape it over your circuit breaker, so you can still access it, but it's blocking it. And then Children's Health Defense, Take Back Your Power. So the guy, Josh Del Sol, has a movie, and maybe one night we'll watch it here. It is so worth watching. Take Back Your Power, and that is about the smart meters. I didn't figure we didn't have enough time tonight to talk about smart meters. That they are just putting on without your consent, without even telling you. And then they're saying, well, we don't even have the old ones anymore. Right. Bull, you know what? I live in a 100-year-old house. There's my little rotary guy. He says, oh no, we don't service those anymore. Yes, you do, because you're billing me. So something's happening, right? So we're gonna have to really push back hard. But the problem with the smart meters is that they're unsafe in that they can burst into flames. They only have like a 5 to 7 year life. They are tracking your every move in your house, especially if you have a smart fridge and a smart lamp and a smart TV and a smartphone and everything is smart. Then all that you're doing, the way you're using data, they're tracking with that device. And then there's a fourth thing, I can't think of it. But like Twyla said, he who has the data has the power, and that's what they're doing. They're collecting all this data on you and how you're purchasing, you're eating, your sleeping patterns, your bowel movements, your sexual activity, everything. Okay, and then this one that says, let's go back one, the terrain, the film. So that has to do with the inside terrain, right? And the cleaner and the healthier you are, the less these assaults are going to take you down. Does this make sense? So that's another discussion hopefully we'll have for another time, but that is a great film, and you should watch it, because it'll make you think twice about what you're putting in here, or on here, or breathing. Perfumes, scented laundry detergent is filled with what are called xenoestrogens. They're endocrine disruptors. They're horrible for you. So the terrain, the film, and Presidium Life, that's the Dr. Ruggiero who I had the aha moment when he said, yes, humans can tolerate the EMFs better than the microbes that sustain us. So that's a critical point. And then the tapping solution, conscious copper, and then the last one is FLFE net. I call it fluffy. Oh my gosh, my brain just stopped. Focus, life, force, energy, right? And that's about, I have my house kind of being monitored, and you just got to go there and check it out. You probably think I'm really crazy, but you should check it out if you want to really do everything you can for your home. That's your sanctuary, right? You can't control what's going on at Best Buy or at any place, but you can control your home best you can. Like, you can control the choices you make. You're going to have pollution when you walk across the parking lot, but drink clean water and eat clean food and only apply clean things to your body, right? So those are the things that you can control. Take control of the ones that you can. And then what do we have next? Okay, so I mean for this to be all doom and gloom, because like I said, we still want our technology. We need it. Jan, you have a landline, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, I want to get a landline. Do you have a
I do.
landline? Who else has a landline? Yay! Oh man! Yeah, I gotta get a landline. Oh, I need it so bad. So the bigger picture is, think globally, but act locally. Like, so local, like right here local. Even more local than this room is right here. And what you put in your mouth, that's extremely local. And get outside and God's beautiful earth, because we're earthlings, right? We're not supposed to be in these dwellings all day long sitting. We're supposed to be outside. So get out there. Look how beautiful that is. No towers, no wires, no billboards, no people even. My husband loves that. So what do we have next? The bigger picture is to take care of yourself and seek balance. To me, I'm a firm believer, this is my mantra, that balance is the key to happiness. Like, you work too much and not enough rest, you're out of balance. So balancing all these things, top to bottom, front, back, left to right, inside, outside. And it's a constant effort. That pendulum is constantly swinging. So you're seeking balance in all things. And then what else we have? Get outside and let the sun shine on you. I'm at Lake Powell there. Is that not amazing? I should be barefoot, but I had my dogs, and if they ran off, and what if I fell off the cliff? Anyway, so keep going. This is just supposed to inspire you. That's out at our farm. Do what makes you feel good and well, and do it a lot. Do it as much as you can. The thing that makes you feel good, do that. Do that one thing. This is called three-legged dog, by the way, yoga pose. And then there, I like to do hot yoga. So it's so important that you sweat. So if you can access a sauna, anybody have a sauna at home? Jan, I know you do, excellent. But you don't need a sauna. I mean, it's about to be a sauna outside pretty soon. Get outside and sweat, because sweat is how your body detoxifies. Your skin is your largest detoxifying organ. We have the mechanism. So use the mechanism. That whole thing, if you don't use it, you lose it kind of thing. You need to sweat. It's important. It's critical for detoxification of the body. So get in the sauna or get outside and do some hard work. Get your hands in the dirt. That's where all the healthy microbes are. And also, I said at the end of that, be still. Also be still. Take time to be still. My son and his girlfriend are in town from San Antonio, and they're in their, what I call the doing years, man. They're on their devices and they're, and constantly. And they have a restaurant and they're busy. So we went to the front porch and they got in. I said, we want to go sit on the front porch. So we sat on the front porch and we were all three just sitting there silently. I said, you guys probably don't even know what to do with yourselves. You probably have not been this still for this long and still awake. And then look at these guys. Spend time with your best friends and your loved ones. These Standard Poodles are amazing. The fourth one, he's off somewhere. There's one back there. So, spend time with people that make you feel good. What else we got? Oh, and take in life with all your senses. That was a lilac in full bloom. It smelled so amazing. That was in Flagstaff. So, there's so much to offer in nature if we just get into it. Get into nature. Go and find it. And it's so beautiful here. And then be well, be happy. That's kind of my slogan is, be well and be happy, because I think you can't truly be happy until you're well inside, in your heart, in your mind, in your body, in all things, right? In your spirit. And it's a pursuit. Rita made a comment one night when I was arriving, and Jan said, well, that's because she works on it all the time. I'm obsessed with it. I don't know how I'd survive if I wasn't constantly trying to be in a balanced state and be in a well state, and so that I could be happy. I'm free, as free as you can be. I think I'm starting to question freedom, real freedom. Anyway, do you have any questions?
How about a round of applause? Wonderful. I have to tell you, what she says, number one, about her dogs, yes, they're big, and they will knock you over. I mean, they love me.
Yes, they love people. They love to be loved.
And lost my train of thought. We're gonna share a lot of these links. We will share these with everyone. And she is on Telegram. Be Well, Be Happy on Telegram, and I can share your link, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I will do that as well. I want to tell you something about the 5G, the smart meters. We
Yes.
have a group, in Semo Beach, that's just one of our WTP groups, but we also have the WTP legislation. We've got like 10 groups. And we have a group for if you are interested in 5G, smart meter, the EMFs, we have a group also. So if you're interested in that, send me an email and I'll send you the link so you can get
Yeah, because a
onto
lot
that.
of the stuff I post there.
Yes.
And also, if anybody has something they want to contribute, something that you know, here's something that's interesting to me though, the little 5G towers, they're at places like KFC, IHOP, AutoZone, all these, big box commercial places. And I find that really interesting.
I will tell you also regarding the smart meters, several years ago, I lobbied in Jeff City against them to right now you have to opt out. And we called them extortion fees because they're already on your house. And to opt out, to have them come back and put an analog meter on, you have to pay this tremendous amount of fee. And so if you're interested in that, there's always some kind of legislation about it. It never gets any kind of traction because everyone wants to have access 24/7. But I can connect you with folks across the state who are very interested in getting rid of this stuff. So
I'm actually trying to force this issue on the health board too, because it is a health issue. So that's why I started with Becking, because he has open ears and open mind.
I wanted to talk about the barefoot thing, about how our body's an electrical system. I've been preaching it for like 5 or 6 years to my family.
Oh yeah, he's got the mic.
Sorry. I've been preaching to my family for about 5 years about walking barefoot.
There you go, right there.
Been preaching to my family for about 5 years about the barefoot and how our body's an electrical system and it helps ground you. Do you feel like that combats everything we're being attacked by from the 5G and all that?
What it does is it strengthens you, right? So that when these assaults happen, if you're well, just like the supposed COVID, and I don't mean to offend anybody, that if the terrain is clean and good, it's not going to have the harmful effects. As if, if you're unwell, you've been sick, and if the terrain is not balanced, then it's a hotbed. So it's strengthening you and getting you the whole body vibrating. And there's a whole thing called quantum cellular resonance. And this is what grounding helps with, to get us in the right 7.8 hertz where we should be.
Back here.
Yes, question in the back.
Well, I just got one statement real quick. In the late 1800s was whenever the telegraph was first introduced. And ever since then, we have been invaded by electrical magnetic pulse. Ever since then, and it has not stopped. And it's going to continue keeping it coming. The Faraday bag is the most important thing you can have if you're going to have a cell phone.
And by the way, it's been known for decades, and there's piles of research that support that 5G is harmful to life. But and I meant to include it, and I'm just remembering it, there's some head of the FCC, it's kind of gone viral, him on this rant, and we're gonna do it no matter what. We're not gonna wait for tests and studies, we're gonna do it. So, whoa.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't want to offend anyone either, but I know when he was talking about the grounding, one of the things I've learned, because I've been into all of this for years, putting the essential oils in the bottom of your feet, this is where things go in, and it's important to do that, grounding, we do that. But this whole thing with the 5G, I don't know if you've all ever heard of Project Bluebeam.
Yes.
And it's already being unleashed right now, certain frequencies. And when if all of this COVID stuff took place, they said that it works in the same frequency as the 5G. It was important to get everybody inside so they can put up the satellites. And it's not just what you see here.
Right, it's in the sky.
It's the satellites. Satellites that are falling. They're not just, it's like they'll say, well, there was a hit, and all of this can be looked up. And if you've ever seen a certain mobile phone company, I don't know if I should say their name,
Say
but
it.
it's all covered in pink. And their goal 2 years ago was once they finish getting the whole United States done, okay, then they'll be all ready to put in place all of the ways to track us. When you were saying interesting that it's at fast food restaurants, all of this, like all of that still includes the nanotechnology, data collecting, all of that is going in together because it's going to involve the food supply and everything. So this is one of the things, when we hear that, when you were saying that earlier, I just said, it is important for us to be aware, know that there are certain things we can protect ourselves from, but know the big picture, because this is just a minuscule